Hello to everyone and welcome back into the channel. So I hope that at this point you've already watched the first 2 episodes of WandaVision streaming on Disney+. And while it's quite obvious the MCU is outside of its normal wheelhouse, so to speak, for the most part, Marvel fans or casual observers for that matter seem to be content with the show. But I think the most relevant and important question looming in everyone's mind has got to be, how will WandaVision tie in to the Marvel Cinematic Universe? The most obvious place to start pinpointing WandaVision's destination out of all the possibilities of where it could go is to read up on the comic book source material. Now, some have commented on a 12-issue run of The Vision written by Tom King as a template for the show, to which I would have to disagree. While some of the details fall over into the show, such as Vision having a boss and his wife pay a visit to Vision's home, the plot of WandaVision and The Vision comic differ drastically. And while everyone may sift through every comic book Easter egg, where WandaVision makes its direction clear is at the end of the first 2 episodes. First, with the S.w.o.r.d logo signifying that the Sentient World Observation and Response Department is monitoring the situation. Now this is very significant, because just before Marvel's Agents of S.w.o.r.d wrapped up, and I do have those reviews on my channel, just click on the link below, there was talk of some of the main characters reprising their role in an upcoming S.w.o.r.d revival of the show. Not to mention, Daisy, Sousa, and Cora, which is Daisy's sister, are in space at the series finale. One thing I should point out is that Daisy's sister is from an alternate timeline. We'll get back to that shortly. Now, this S.w.o.r.d connection was also hinted at with Nick Fury being on a space station at the tail end of Spider-Man Far From Home. Likewise, there are 3 more clues that grounds the show's direction in a very telling way. The first being that bottle of wine labeled with the House of M references. Plus, in the end scene of the 2nd episode, we see an individual in a beekeeper uniform. Now this is key. This is not so recognizable to a casual observer, but it is a wink at the organization called AIM, or Advanced Idea Mechanics. Now this opens up a whole nother slew of possibilities, but one we can narrow down once we understand the show's specific use of the comics. So the introduction of Advanced Idea Mechanics is Marvel's way of coming full circle with Von Strucker, the person responsible for Wanda and her brother becoming enhanced in the MCU. Because in the comics, Strucker was using AIM technology to engineer weapons, and not Wanda or her brother. They inherited their powers from their father, Magneto. And it was the House of M storyline that played a large part of not only the Avengers and the X-Men having to team up to stop Wanda, but also Wanda becomes responsible for nearly wiping out all mutants by just one mere utterance. Now, do I think this is likely for WandaVision? Of course not. For one, Thanos. But the second reason is far more distinct. Up to this point in cinema, Vox was the only vehicle by which the public at large was introduced to the X-Men. The MCU, however, has only known enhanced individuals or those involved in freak accidents, not mutants. And since Phase 5 of the MCU slate involves the X-Men's debut and Wolverine debut, which ties into the theories in this video, seeing as how he was a pivotal character in the House of M storyline, and lastly the Fantastic Four launch as well. Instead of Wanda erasing mutants like in the comics, what if she introduces them? Or at the very least, as mentioned earlier, WandaVision, a mere TV show, is more than likely laying the groundwork for the MCU multiverse, which will need a multiversal threat. Because while Thanos might have wiped out half the life in our universe, we have yet to see a multiversal threat, hence the differences between the Thanos that we got in the comic books versus the one we got in the MCU. And accordingly, while Agents of S.w.o.r.d has coincided with the MCU movies, the show has rarely been affected by the movies, or in retrospect, maybe they were. But herein lies the point of this video. Will WandaVision be that definitive vehicle to line directly up with the upcoming Phase 5 slate, as well as directly mirror the comic book canon once and for all? I believe it will to some degree, given the case that we've made here thus far. But despite all of this, it still doesn't take Wanda Maximoff out of the realm of being a threat. After all, given her troubled path and her initial stance toward the Avengers, namely Tony Stark, and the fact that S.w.o.r.d is even currently watching her now, it isn't out of the realm of possibility, but frankly, it would make for great television. Post your comments down below and let me know what you think about this video's premise. If you happen to like the content here on this video, make it official. Hit that like and sub button so you can catch more content just like this, coming very soon to a tablet, TV, laptop, or phone near you. Thanks so very much for watching, honestly. And until then, see you then.